What is going on, everybody? It is Ivory Makes Music, and this is Boom Bap Recovery coming at you live with another episode. I am so excited to be live and direct with you guys right now because we are starting our very first music episode. We're bringing the Boom Bap in Boom Bap Recovery. I'm a music producer, a sound engineer, and a rapper, anything creative. And I am a recovering, grateful, loving to be alive alcoholic, and I'm here to support you guys and share with you guys my experience, my strength, and my hope through podcasts, through my own admissions, and specifically today through my music, which I share the darkness that is alcoholism and the hope that we have in that we can recover. We do recover. And today is going to be the first episode where I take you guys through some of my production, go through the lyrics, what they meant to me, where I was in that particular moment in my addiction, in my drinking, and share with you guys some tips and tricks. If you guys like music production, if you guys are beat makers or rappers or singers, so if you guys want to learn anything that is creative, ask questions, as well as how I came to recover and how we can be of service to you guys and give you guys advice. For those of you that are still in there drinking or newly sober, we're here to help. So it's Boom Bap Recovery. We're going to get into some music production. This song is special to me because it's one of the first songs that I worked on sober. During the tail end of my disease, I had no inspiration or any sort of motivation to make music, and I had everything to talk about. I had what was going on around me as far as like alcohol breaking my spirit down, and everything that was going on during the COVID pandemic, because that's when I hit my bottom. There was so much to talk about. There was so much going on in the world, but I had zero interest in anything other than my next drink. And things spiraled out of control. But this song is special in particular in that it was one of the first songs that I started producing and writing to and kind of documenting what it was like. So without further ado, let's get into the beat. This is Ableton Live. This is what I started producing with. And this is the session here. As you can see, it's organized into drums, bass, the main sample that I use, which was this really cool lo-fi Moog sample, and then my chorus stack of vocals, and then my verse stack of vocals. It's a very simple production. I make all of my beats. It's pretty basic stuff. I'm no wizard or anything like that. I just like putting sounds together and expressing myself over them. And if any of you guys are out there that are musicians or singers or producers, holler at me. Let's collaborate on some recovery music. These are the lyrics that I wrote so you guys can follow along. And what we'll do is we'll listen to the song all the way through. I'll give you guys a beat breakdown, vocal breakdown, how I stack things, and then we'll go through the lyrics and we'll talk about the recovery aspect of the song and what I was going through during those times. So we have the lyrics, we're going to break down the beat, and we're going to talk about the recovery. So let's do that. Let's go, guys. So let's play the song.
I'm going crazy. I'm slowly fading. I'm going crazy.
Like a rock star, heart beating non-stop, mind bounce like a drop top. Feeling low, but I'm higher than the treetops. Can't take it, but I'm scared of the deep
I'm crazy.
Like a rock star, heart beating non-stop, mind bounce like a drop top. Feeling low, but I'm higher than the treetops. Can't take it, but I'm scared of the deep talks.
Life is just a metaphor. Fire lyrics and I'm pouring down the ethanol. Coke lines and I'm hoping it ain't fentanyl. Bruised body excuses so plentiful. A slave to the chemical. Alive and dead is so deceiving. Burning up and slowly freezing. Moms are Satan, sons are heathen. The devil's culture, soul is feeding. Gotta stop now, reaching out to God now. Take me up cause my life is being brought down. Ask him, can he change my ways before I die and fade away? Turn my will and my life to you on the light. I'm reaching new heights, new vision in sight. Living on the bottle now, living on the track. New life, I ain't never going back. I'm crazy.
Like a rock star, heart beating non-stop, mind bounce like a drop top. Feeling low, but I'm higher than the treetops. take it, but I'm scared of the detox.
Woo! Let's go. So this song is unreleased, it's unmastered, it's kind of mixed. Through my recovery, there's been a lot of growth, but then there's been a lot of stagnation in some senses too. And this music being one of them. I knew from the onset that my recovery had to come first, and I remained uninspired to really put the pedal to the metal with my music, because I knew that I would get to a place eventually where I would have clarity, and it wasn't happening. I was getting clarity in all of these other realms, in all of these other spheres in my life as I recovered, as I cleared kind of wreckage away from my past and my life, and kind of stepped into the world anew. But I wasn't ready. And I believe in the last 6 months, I was gearing up to ultimately be ready. And just recently, within the last couple of weeks since I started this YouTube channel, I've really come into my own as far as like, I have arrived. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to put myself out there and give it all I have with the utmost gusto and sober like energy, and it's just been beautiful. So I hope you guys stick around for the ride, because I'm gonna be here whether it gets 2 likes or 20,000 likes. I'm gonna be grinding for this, so stick around. So let's get into the beat. Let's break down the beat. Really simple beat. So let's start off with the sample. The sample is really cool. I found this on Splice. It's a lo-fi Moog sample, and as soon as I heard it, I'm like, that's it. I think I pitched it up a little bit, added some effects. I think I resampled it, just a little bit of EQ. This is after the original processing that I did. I added some some phasing and some tape distortion or something or other. I don't recall, but I did a little bit of effects processing to it. But this is what it sounds like, just the sample. Pretty simple, pretty dope. That's it. Just loops around, kind of spacey. Pretty cool sample, right? So then we get into the drums, right? So let me just play you guys the drum group that I have here. Just stacked a couple of kicks and some hats. We play the bass, and pretty simple bass. Put in the sample. It. So pretty simple drums, pretty simple bass line, and a really cool sample. Doesn't have to be super duper complex. I'm a less is more type of guy. I'm more, my music, the way I approach it is, when I'm making a beat, it's all about setting up a mood, right? It's like, what energy, what's in the room, what am I filling it with? And when I heard the sample, I'm like, okay, this is spacey. It's kind of dark. What's the mood here, right? And it immediately brought me to thinking about like how I used to, at the tail end of my drinking, I used to kind of dabble in other things, and it was just, that's when things really spiraled out of control. A little bit of the extracurriculars, as I like to call them. I know that it's a very, very dangerous time to be out using. So my heart is out to you guys if you are suffering with addiction, not only from alcohol, but other substances. This channel and many others are here to support you, no matter what sort of other things you're doing to supplement your recovery. We're here for you. This sample just set that mood, right? Where I really wanted to talk about what was going on. Like, I wanted to paint a picture, right? So the sample really set the mood. So let's go through these vocal stacks, right? Let's go through the chorus, right? So the song starts off with like, I'm going crazy, I'm slowly fading. So let's listen to that.
I'm going crazy, 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 crazy. I'm slowly fading. I'm going crazy.
Like a rock star, heart beating non-stop, mind bounce like a drop top. Feeling low, but I'm high.
So how I stack my vocals, I like to stack 3 vocals and do kind of like a fun stereo stack. One is mono right down the middle, and that's my main chorus vocal here.
Dreading life like a rock star, heart beating non-stop, mind bounce like a drop.
I'm gonna play it for you guys without any of the effects, just pretty dry.
Dreading life like a rock star, heart beating non-stop, mind bounce like a drop top. Feeling low, but I'm higher than the treetops. Can't take it, but I'm scared of the detox.
So pretty simple, right? And then I stack that. I do another take on the left side and I do another take on the right side for a stereo image.
Dreading life like a rock star, heart beating non-stop, mind bounce like a drop top.
And that's the 3 stacks with no effects, and this is with some effects on it. Again, this is not mixed, it's just kind of thrown together.
Dreading life like a rock star, heart beating non-stop, mind bounce like a drop top. Feeling low, but I'm higher than the treetops. Can't take it, but I'm scared of the detox.
And then I add in a little bit of candy, a little bit of ad-libs and stuff like that. Nothing crazy.
Crazy.
Like a rock star, heart beating non-stop.
So it's a little bit of call and response. I'm going crazy. I'm slowly faded. And then the middle parts. Dreading life like a rasta. Heart beating non-stop. Mind bounce like a drop top. Right? So that's the chorus. That's the vocal stack for the chorus. And then it goes into the verse. Let's get into these lyrics, guys. So what am I talking about here, right? So this was obviously a crazy dark moment in my drinking. I'm recapping it because at this point I'm already sober, but I might not be recovering. I might not have much recovery under my belt. I think I wrote this song maybe 4 or 5 months into my recovery. And like I said, if you had seen any of my previous videos, my recaps of my bottom and my experience, I was not sleeping for the first 3-4 months, you know. So although I wanted recovery, I was hungry for it. I was still running on fumes, but I had this creative energy and I was putting it out through music. So let's get through the lyrics, okay?
I'm going crazy.
Like a rock star, heart beating non-stop, mind bounce like
I'm
a drop top.
slowly
Feeling low,
fading.
but I'm higher than the treetops. Can't take it, but I'm scared of
I'm
the
going
detox.
crazy.
And then it just repeats. So what am I saying? There's a call and response that says, I'm going crazy. And you have the delay, crazy. And then I say, dreading life like a rasta. So I'm dreading life at this moment. I don't want to drink. I can't stop drinking. So I'm dreading it. And just kind of like a nice little play on words. I'm dreading like a dread, like a rasta, like a Rastafarian who has dreads, you know. And that line, I was inspired by one of my trudging buddies on Tavion. I love you, brother. From the projects, my trudging brother who's had dreads his whole life. So it was inspired by him. But dreading, so I'm dreading life like a Rasta. Heart beating nonstop, mind bounce like a drop top. So what does that mean? My heart is beating nonstop at this point. I have anxiety through the roof. Before the alcohol stopped working, it would provide some relief, right? So I'd get home like wanting wanting a drink just to relax, just to kick back a little bit, and be like, oh freak, yes, I'm home. I can kick my feet up and just relax. There's relief. There's a little bit of calm and chill, right? I don't have to think about the world, or I get to relax a little bit. That stopped happening. It went from alcohol was calming me down and making me chill for a bit to it would provide very temporary relief, and then I would just need more, and then the anxiety was instant, if not just like what exacerbated, and heart beating nonstop, mind bounced like a drop top. So my heart is racing, right? When's my next drink? Am I going to have enough to get me through the night? Am I going to have enough to get me through the morning when I can go get more at 6 a.m? And then mind bounce like a drop top. So my mind is racing, not just my body, my mind. I'm going crazy. I'm thinking about not only am I going to get my next drink or able to get my next drink before I start withdrawing, um, I'm physically detoxing, right? And then I still have all of my life's unmanageability. I still have creditors coming after me. I still have work calling me why I didn't come into work. I still have my mom calling me, my family wondering if I'm okay, my rent's due, my cell phone bills due, my insurance is due. I'm juggling this, I'm juggling that. That is when it's mental anguish. So it's physical turmoil, heart beating nonstop, but it's mental anguish as well. Mind bounced like a drop top, right? So what's a drop top, right? So it's pretty much a hydraulic vehicle, right? A drop top, a convertible. Put the drop top down and bounce that thing, you know. So you can imagine a hydraulic convertible car. That's how my mind was, just bouncing from one thought to the next and racing from one paranoid thought to the next. That's how I lived my life, heart beating nonstop and mind bouncing like a drop top, right? So there it is. That's the chorus. That's pretty much the chorus. And then the call and response goes, I'm slowly fading, 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 feeling low, but I'm higher than the treetops. I can't take it, but I'm scared of the detox, right? I'm slowly fading in that my spirit is dying. Feeling low, but you're done. You're done, though, right? You're at the bottom. But I'm higher than the treetop. So the irony is that I'm at rock bottom, but I'm high as a kite, right? So like I said, I was doing some other little extracurriculars at this point. I'm higher than the treetops. I can't take it, but I'm high. I can't take it, but I'm scared of the detox. So feeling low, spiritual bottom, higher than the treetops, right? You're at bottom, but you're still pretty loaded. Can't take it, but I'm scared of the detox. Can't take it, but I'm scared of the detox. I don't want this to be the cycle. This is a vicious, terrible cycle, but I can't stop. I can't picture my life. I can't picture continuing my life with alcohol, but I can't picture my life without it. And I'm scared to start withdrawing. I'm scared of the detox. I'm scared to let this go because this has been my solution for over a decade. That's the chorus for you guys. All right, let's get into this verse, guys, and we'll break that down line by line.
Life is just a metaphor. Fire lyrics and I'm pouring down the ethanol. Coke lines and I'm hoping it ain't fentanyl. Bruised body, excuses so plentiful. A slave to the chemicals.
Woo! Life is just a metaphor. Fire lyrics and I'm pouring out the ethanol. Coke lines and I'm hoping it ain't fentanyl. Bruised body, excuses so plentiful, a slave to these chemicals. Wow. So fire lyrics. What is alcohol? It's ethanol. I found that out the hard way when they gave me the papers at the hospital to read out my blood alcohol level and I saw the number 5 something. I was like, what does that mean? But apparently I should have been dead a couple times over, and it said, I thought it was going to say BAC or something like that, but it said ethanol. And yeah, that's ethanol is alcohol. That's what we're drinking when we're drinking vodka and beer and all this stuff. That's what it breaks down to. That's the chemical that alcohol is. Coke lines, and I'm hoping it ain't fentanyl. Yeah, we're living in some dangerous times right now. I hope if you're out there using, even if it's like, I'm not minimizing cocaine. I'm not saying it's, better than anything else. But if you're taking this thinking it's a party drug, just something recreational, there's nothing recreational about any drug out there right now. The dangers are very, very real of it being laced with fentanyl. Bruised body, excuses so plentiful, a slave to the chemical. So that's the big line for me there. Bruised body, excuses so plentiful, a slave to the chemicals. So I have a picture that wakes me up every morning. It's a note that I have attached to my alarm every single morning, along with an opening prayer. And it has a picture that I took of myself during my rock bottom, and a picture in the mirror. And it just exemplifies how broken and beaten I was. It was devastating to look at then, and it's devastating to look at now. And I love looking at it because it reminds me of how grateful and appreciative I am to have made it out of that hell. I was killing myself. I was beginning to be jaundiced. If you were to touch me, I would bruise. I'd get drunk at night and I'd wake up like a banana, just bruised from having run into things here and there, falling, scrapes scratches that take forever to heal. But I had excuses for every time I drank. That I did not run out of excuses and ways of lying to myself and telling myself that if only I got this, if only I can manage that, if only I could pay my rent or do this or get by this week or that, I was going to be okay, and that I'd start drinking less on Monday. But as we all know, we can have all the excuses in the world and nothing's going to change if nothing changes. A slave to the chemicals. And that's what I was. I best believe I was a slave to alcohol. I worshiped alcohol. Alcohol was my king. It was my savior because it was the only solution that I knew worked. Even though it stopped working, it's all I thought about. And I was a slave. I really was. So let's keep going.
Use is so plentiful, a slave to the chemical. I'm alive and dead, it's so deceiving. Burning up and slowly freezing. Moms are Satan, sons are heathen. The devil's cauldron, soul is feeding.
Let's stop there. So I'm alive, I'm dead. It's so deceiving. Burning up, I'm slowly freezing. Mom's a saint, and son's a heathen. The devil's cauldron, soul is feeding. So it's like a roller coaster it's like the worst possible roller coaster to ever be on, right? So one moment you feel alive and you feel a little bit euphoric from the first couple drinks, and then you're dead, and then you're just morose, and then you're just stewing in your thoughts and ashamed of yourself for having done this again. And it's deceiving. It's lying to you that it'll bring you relief when it's really not. Burning up, I'm slowly freezing. So I knew I was starting to get very wicked withdrawal symptoms when I would wake up in the middle of the night drenched in sweat. It had never happened to me, and it started happening to me about 6 months before I hit my bottom. And it was crazy how much liquid sweat I'm talking. I've hiked 12 miles. I've played back-to-back soccer games, basketball games. I'm a very athletic. I love doing hard, crazy physical things, and I sweat. I'm a big guy. I sweat. I have never sweated so profusely like when I would wake up drenched in sweat from withdrawing. And I would wake up so cold and so alone. It was terrifying. I'd wake up in a panic, just running out like someone is about to get me. And I'd literally, you would see driplets of water, of sweat coming off of me. Mom's a saint and son's a heathen. So my mom is a big Catholic, and I love what church has been for her. It's been a safe place. It's been her salvation as far as, being able to attach to something higher of her own right, And I know my siblings and I put her through a lot, and me almost killing myself was no exception. And I know she used to pray for us a lot, and I'd go days just avoiding her, and I know she would worry. And I'm out there just trying to get relief, whether it's through alcohol, drugs, sex, food, whatever it is. I was just trying to get relief. The devil's cauldron, soul is feeding. So I believe my actions, right? My actions, whether it had to do with the alcohol or my relationships with sex, with food, with all of these things that I took too far, I believe there are natural animalistic instincts, right? For reproduction, for survival, to eat, right? But we as alcoholics and addicts, we take those things and they become warped, right? What is an instinct to us to survive and reproduce becomes a sense of relief, right? The dopamine that food provides, the dopamine that sex provides, the dopamine of a pursuit, right? Is medicine to an alcoholic, right? When we just want to get out of our own skin, when we just don't want to think about our realities, those things become very, very attractive to the point where it's evil, right? We're not doing good with it, right? And when you're not doing good with something and you're manipulating people and you're manipulating yourself into thinking things are okay, it's not for good. And if it's not for good, I mean, there's no other way to put it, but it was then there's no other way to put what I was doing other than to label it as bad, right? And that's not to beat myself up too much or for you to beat yourself up, but it's just for us to realize that this is where it takes us, right? This is where it takes us to where we're selfish. We're thinking about our own needs, and that's a very tough realization to come across. Is that we're being selfish to the core, even though we're sick. And even though we're sick, and I can relate to that, I can relate to needing, like, freaking just needing the relief and going out and looking for it and justifying myself for it. I don't excuse what I did at all. In the contrary, I've made a lot of amends. I've been face to face with people that I had quote unquote justified anger against, and made my amends, as well as people that have harmed me. But when we look back, those things were not serving us to the point where we distorted our minds in search of that relief. We hurt other people, and that's never okay, including ourselves, including our bodies, right? And that's not just with alcohol. That's with putting ourselves in danger, not taking care of our health. And that's another thing that I want to get into is the other things like food, like where I may have recovered from alcoholism, but food can still be a vehicle which I seek, or even caffeine, things like that, where I get little hits of dopamine. Where like, that's tasty. I want more of those hits of dopamine. So I'm gonna do videos on how discipline and how I can use some of the tools that I've learned through my recovery from alcoholism and apply them to an addiction that I might have for food, or just like these vehicles that I'm using to still medicate myself, and how we can grow to let those go as well. So I'm going to be doing stuff on those. So stay tuned. Where was I? So the devil's cauldron, soulless feeding. So that's where I'm getting back to. I'm sorry I had a loop around there, but those actions, right? You're feeding into something. You're feeding into negativity. You're feeding into hypersexuality. You're feeding into your own deterioration of your health, the lying, the cheating, the stealing, the moral degradation, which I'm going to get into its own video. And you're feeding that. You're feeding that with your actions and your lifestyle. And trust me, I was no saint. I was out there. If you had something that I wanted that would bring me relief, and if I had to lie, cheat, or steal to get it, I was lying, cheating, and stealing to get it, right? And I'm feeding that. I'm feeding negativity and bad to the world. And it's, who's paying that price? What is paying that price? My soul is feeding that price. And it's going straight there to the devil's cauldron, right? Whatever image, or, however you want to paint that picture, my actions were feeding something wrong. So yeah, mom's is saying son's a heathen. The devil's cauldron, soul is feeding. So my soul is no longer feeding the devil's cauldron. My soul, my spirit, I have purpose today. I use my soul, I use my spirit for good. I use it to not think about myself as much. I think about other people's well-being, and that's given me purpose to create these videos, to reach out, to help other people in need, to sponsor guys, to be a son again, to be a better uncle, present, to be a better employee, to be whatever it is, wherever I can serve other people, I try to do that to the best of my ability. So let's keep going.
Devil's cauldron, soul is feeding. Gotta stop now, reaching out to God now. Take me up, cause my life is being brought down. Ask him, can he change my ways? Before I die and fade away. Turn my will and my life to you and the light. I'm reaching new heights, new vision in sight. Living on the bottle now, living on the track. New life, I ain't never going back.
Nice. Gotta stop now, reaching out to God now. Take me up, cause my spirit's being brought down. So I gotta stop. I can't do this. Reaching out to God now. Take me up, cause my spirit's being brought down. I was a staunch atheist. I was the kind of person that would argue with church people in parking lots, and I had time. I'd been equipped with all sorts of education on how to argue with religion and Christianity, and how it was a pagan astrological religion that it was based on, right? Or this or that, or this can't be true because this, and what about that, and what about the suffering that religion has brought? Idiot, right? I'm not saying you're an idiot if you're atheist or agnostic, by all means, but I was doing it out of ego. I was doing it to point the finger elsewhere rather than to look at myself, right? I needed something to be angry about. Oh, God doesn't help me. What has God ever done? Right? And it worked. I loved feeling better than, or being able to argue with people that had this idea, right? And there's the irony. There is the irony that I prayed the prayer that all of us alcoholics and addicts have to pray before we get any sort of recovery when things get really bad. God, please help me. I yearned for it. I said it out loud, and I meant it. For the first time in my life, I said, God, please help me. I had no other choice. I didn't know how to stop, and I couldn't stop. And I told God, I asked him for help. And I hit another couple bottoms, another couple relapses. I don't call them relapses. Because I didn't actually, there was no recovery. It was just me trying to go cold turkey without any sort of plan or any sort of support at all. Still holding secrets. But I said those words, and maybe in a matter of 3 months, I hit the bottom. That was the bottom, right? And I asked him, take me up because my spirit's being brought down, and he did that. Ever since 4/4/22, I've had the higher power in my life, and no matter who you are, no matter what you believe, what your religious affiliations are, whether you're atheist, agnostic, Christian, Catholic, Buddhist, believe in Islam, Jewish, I hope you guys find the peace and find the energy that I found, because I feel whole again. I'm at peace. I know that life's going to throw its curveballs. I'm going to have moments where I'm going to be devastated by news of this or that. But I know that I'm not alone anymore. The life can come crashing down around me, but I won't drink, because I know that no matter what, there's nothing that alcohol can't make worse. And there's nothing that I can't get through without my higher power. So I asked him, can he change my ways before I die and fade away? I knew I was going to die. If I didn't stop. Turn my will and my life to you in the light, reach new heights, new vision in sight. So I had clarity for once. Those first couple months of sobriety, it wasn't, oh my God, like I don't need to do any more work. I'm absolved. No, it was just enough clarity for me to see the immediate wrong I was doing to me, to my family, to everyone around me, to my life, the disservice that I was doing to this temporary moment that I have here on earth. My spirit may live on forever in the ether, but my time here on planet Earth in this body is temporary. And it was no way to live. It was no way to live in that vicious, terrifying, ugly, disgusting, harmful, and grateful that I had experience. And I hope you find the light too. Living in the bottle, now I'm living in the track, on the track. New life, now I'm never going back. I used to live out the bottle. I was just drinking a bottle every day, like my baby bottle, just sucking at the teat of life, borrowing from life, taking from the stream of life, as I like to say, sucking on that titty, trying to feel relief, trying to feel better. Now I'm living on this track. So now, this is what motivates me, recovery and helping other people. And I'm never going back, man. I'm never going back. And never say never, right? I don't really believe that. I think you can say never, and it's just for show. But life happens. If you relapsed in the past, get back in here. Get back in the game. I'm not absolved from a relapse. I'm not absolved. But I'm not afraid to make statements either. I'm not afraid to grab life by the balls and tell it what I want, because I'm matching its energy, Life is going to bring you negative things. Life is going to bring you bad news. But you have to be present. You have to tell life, I want to live. I want to recover. I want peace. I want serenity. I want those voices out of my head. And just show me how. Give me a little bit of clarity. What do I need to do? What work needs to be done? And it doesn't need to be all done at once. One thing at a time. You know what I used to do early on in my recovery? Clean my room. I used to clean my room every day, even if it was just moving something or other, something that I had control over, and just that one little thing. Okay, that looks better there, because I had no control over anything else. My life was completely unmanageable. I had no manageability in other realms of my life. But you know what I could do? I could go down to the gas station and put air in my passenger tire, the back passenger tire, because it needs a little flat. Go do that. Before, would I care about putting air in my passenger side tire? No, I'd leave it until I'm stranded on the freeway because my tire blew out, because of low tire pressure. I don't know. Just an example, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to that. So I write stuff like this so I can share it with you guys, and I can remind myself of how ugly and terrifying it gets and how beautiful life is on the other side. So it's Ivory Makes Music. And this is Crazy or Fading. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to name it. I'm going to be releasing all this soon. Maybe I can shoot a music video to it. But if you like this sort of content, if you like the beat breakdown, the recording breakdown, the production, and then the lyric breakdown, drop a like, drop a comment. Comment down below what your favorite lyric was, what it means to you. And subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, love, and light. So I'm going to play this song for you guys, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
I'm going crazy. I'm slowly fading. I'm going crazy.
Living life like a rock star. Heart beating non-stop. Mind bounce like a drop top. Feeling low, but I'm higher than the treetops. Can't take it, but I'm scared of the detox. Living life like a rock star. Heart beating non-stop. Mind bounce like a drop top. Feeling low, but I'm higher than the treetops. Can't take it, but I'm scared of the detox.
Life is just a metaphor. Fire lyrics and I'm pouring down the ethanol. Coke lines and I'm hoping it ain't fentanyl. Bruised body, excuses so plentiful. A slave to the chemical. Alive and dead is so deceiving. Burning up and slowly freezing. Mom's a Satan, son's a heathen. The devil's culture, soul is feeding. Gotta stop now, reaching out to God now. Take me up cause my life is being brought down. Ask him, can he change my ways before I die and fade away? Turn my will and my life to you in the light. I'm reaching new heights, new vision in sight. Living on the bottle now, living on the track. New life, I ain't never going back. What crazy?
Living life like a rock star. Heart beating non-stop. Mind bounce like a drop top. take it, but I'm scared